This is a short couple series of videos that I'm going to do about Tetra Pak, how to use it, what it is, and in subsequent videos I'll talk about the inking process and printing. So Tetra Pak is a company that provides food processing packaging solutions. They've been around since approximately 1950s in Sweden. Um, but Today we're going to talk about what is commonly called Tetra Pak. You can find it in most containers like vegetable stock, beef stock, as well as almond milks, other types of beverage containers as well. The product itself is made up of about approximately 70% paperboard with 25% plastic coating and 5% aluminum. And what this does is protects the contents inside the packaging. These layers are pressed into the product, and as you cut away and pull it apart, you can see how the layers are formed. But I'm going to talk about the ability to work with and use Tetra Pak. Tetra Pak can be, depending on the size container that you find, can be cut into various shapes and sizes to your needs. You can also get pristine, clean sheets online. They will cost a premium to get those, but I generally suggest just finding product um, on the shelves in the supermarket and buy what you need to buy cost effectively or what you use normally and use that for your printing plate. So let's talk a little bit about how to do mark making on Tetra Pak. So Tetra Pak is really versatile and very sensitive, quite honestly. You can create all types of patterns and shapes. Tetra Pak itself can be almost drawn on directly. You can create very subtle and simple line art just using a typical dry point or an etching tool. You can see very simple lines are made. However, though, you could take areas and you can also do typical cross hatching. I'm being very quick in regards to demonstrating this right now, but typical cross hatching, you can create shadows, tones, however you choose. But I am going to recommend that you don't get too heavy-handed in regards to creating the cross hatching. What'll start to happen is as you begin to ink and run the product through the press, these areas where the heavy cross hatching was done will begin to degrade and come apart. They'll fray. I have a couple of example plates that I can kind of show you here. So these are some plates that I previously created and printed. You'll see here you've got some fraying and some degradation in the product itself. Although I have to say, sometimes as these things develop, they do kind of create unique artifacts within the plates themselves. You'll find as you're printing, you'll start to get these little kind of like frayed edges and stuff. Again, I personally think they create unique elements. That's up to every individual who's doing the printmaking, so you work with that as you choose. But I'll show you guys a better example. So right here, you can see where the plate started coming apart, and probably not an optimal thing. Again, you can see some of it within this plate here and here. But let's talk a little bit more about using and working with the plate itself. So as you're working with this, there are multiple ways to create textures, create line work, other opportunities with the product itself is to cut sections out. You literally could go in, cut away an area, and then you can literally peel the Tetra Pak back. In doing so, when you ink, what's going to happen is when you ink the surface and then you wipe away ink to do your printing later, this area is going to get significantly saturated. So what you could do is, if you were creating a landscape or a character, or something of that nature, if you had areas that you wanted very defined black, you had a space here that you wanted people to see, you simply could come in, cut away lightly at this element, and again, peel it back, and that will be a specifically black area. Again, you could create shapes in here and pull those away, and those will become your black areas. So again, like I said, I would stick to very simple and very lightweight tips to work with as you're working with this product. Again, there's multiple ways to do this. You can come in and draw directly on the material with either a Sharpie, a fine line Sharpie, a ballpoint pen. You can create an illustration and overlay it on here with a carbon paper. I would recommend using either a blue or a red carbon paper. They tend to stick a little bit better than a typical gray, and the gray does not show up as well here. So then when you go in and you start creating your line work, some areas you're going to create are going to be heavier than others. And again, I'm just going to do an example here. You can create tones and texture along here to bring out edges nicely. Other ways to work with this product, quite simply, are stippling. You can create line patterns and dot patterns using stippling. You can create shapes. It does show up quite well. It's pretty interesting how it does print, and I'll show some of that when I get to the printing section. Again, you can create straight lines doing dots. You can create all kinds of things. You can also use other types of tools and instruments to create larger depressions, line work that is just a depression. Just keep in mind, as you're beginning to do printing with this product, that as it continues to go through the press multiple times, the depressed areas that you're creating with some of these tools will degrade over time. The press is going to flatten them out a bit. Typically, the Tetra Pak can get you anywhere, and I'm being very conservative here, anywhere between 5 up to maybe 15 or 20 impressions, quality impressions. After that, the plate begins to degrade quite a bit. Again, you can use other burnishing tools, much heavier line work in here with this. You can also come in with roll it tools and create textures and patterns using those tools, creating unique textures. You can use simple, subtle pieces. You can use very coarse texture in here. Again, really all depending on what your need is and what you're looking for and what the outcome you're desiring is. And you can start layering these elements in together. And so these are the basic elements that you can use to create an image on a Tetra Pak plate. Like I said, it could be anything from abstracts to landscapes. You can do very detailed and unique images of animals, people, whatever it may be. Really just kind of let your mind open up to that. And then I recommend, when you're using these products, that you overlay these images on top of other colored backgrounds that you might want to create. They interact very nicely, the plates themselves, and I'll show you in the inking process the opacity of the inks that I recommend to use create nice translucent and transparent reactions. Well, hopefully this short video just kind of gave you a quick look into using the Tetra Pak and making marks on it. Thanks. Have a good day.